What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. The Pittsburgh Steelers just finished their Week 2 NFL matchup of the 2025 season, their home opener against the Seattle Seahawks, a team much like ourselves that came in with a lot of injuries, especially in the secondary. Both teams, us and Seattle, both banged up. We came into this game without Derek Harmon on the D-line, second week of him missing out on his first couple rookie games. Also, JPJ did not play in this game, so the reliance on Ramsey and Slade to pick up the slack. Seattle came in with one of their best corners down and had some issues in their secondary as well. They had a barn burner close game last week where they lost to the 49ers. We had a barn burner beating the Jets last week. So two pretty evenly matched teams, two solid rosters, two teams full of injuries. Came into this game, Pittsburgh at home, and loses our first game, our first loss of the season. We are now 1-1. Lost this game, final score of 31-17, mainly on one big play. Games don't ever come down to one play. You can never judge one call, one player, one play, any one single thing, or even one phase of the game, really, to cost you a game. But in this case, there was one big play that did change momentum, turn things over to Seattle, and really put us behind, which then Seattle could come through and finish us off. So we'll talk about it, but how fast things turn in the NFL. Last week we came out with a 4-touchdown, almost 300-yard game from Aaron Rodgers. Felt pretty good. This week, not so much on offense. Definitely a lot slower, a lot more pressure on us. Defensively, we have some major holes, especially in the middle of the field. We're pretty soft in the middle. We have a lot to talk about. Basically, first half came out pretty even. Pittsburgh comes out, eventually evens things out at 14-14. Tie game at the half. Again, the big play in the second half did put us behind. We'll talk about it. But Seattle came out, outscored us. I think it was something crazy like 24-3 in the second half overall. So not the best, not what you're looking for in the second half, trying to rally. Stat-wise, Aaron Rodgers, it's a paltry-looking stat line today. 18 for 33, just 203 yards, one touchdown, two picks. The touchdown was a nice body play. We had a series of just big guys going up, using their bodies to box out and make plays. Rodgers got to the outside, threw it up to DK Metcalf, who was one-on-one with a smaller guy, used his body to box out, go up and catch the ball. 2-point conversion then, same thing. Rodgers throws it up to Darnell Washington, who goes up, makes a nice big body catch. Using the big body guys, we like to see that. The two interceptions, one was not Rodgers' fault. We had Rodgers, again, having to escape and run for his life to get outside, and then throwing a play where both Freiermuth and Calvin Austin were in the same area. It was a confusing double route on the same side. Apparently, Calvin Austin was supposed to come back to the ball and clear out for Freiermuth to get a one-on-one, but he didn't clear out. So Calvin winds up tipping the ball and trying to get a diving catch in the end zone, tipping the ball up, and the Seahawks corner winds up making a nice diving catch over Calvin's body for a fluky interception that goes their way. The other interception was late in the game. We were already down by 2 scores. Rodgers tries to throw it up one-on-one to Calvin. It's a really bad throw. This one's not Calvin's fault at all. This one's on Rodgers. Sloppy throw, but the game was already over. Rodgers, I got to give Rodgers credit. He does look much more spry than I expected. For a guy that age with that many hits on his body, he's still moving around better than I thought. You know, Grandpa Rodgers is not as immobile and slow as I expected this season. He is getting out of a lot of pressures and sacks. He spun out of a nice one today. He's getting outside and trying to extend the play. But the two things that makes you notice is, number one, he's running for his life every play. He's either getting sacked quickly or he's getting out and avoiding sacks and still getting hit. So he's taking a lot of punishment, so the line is playing terribly. And on some of those play extensions, guys are not getting open. We're not getting the separation we got last week, and we're not getting as many targets downfield as I would like. So that's Rodgers' day. Definitely not as impressive as before, but only getting sacked 3 times. It could have been 6 or 7 easily. This line is not good. Rodgers, again, for all the punishment he's taking, he's doing his best out there to get outside, but it's been a lot of checkdowns. We're getting ourselves in a lot of second and long, third and longs. Rodgers checking down a lot. Offense looking a little conservative, mostly because there's not enough time to get out there and do stuff. Running the ball a little better this week. The personnel grouping was a little better. Warren was the main guy out there today. I still think that Kenneth Gainwell got way too much. Warren winds up with 14 carries for 48 yards. That's about 3.5 a carry. That's not great. His last couple took his average down a little bit. He also wound up being the receiving leader, though, with 4 catches for 86 yards, including one of the best catches I've seen for a while. He got the longest catch so far in the short NFL season. He took a nice extension Rodgers play where Rodgers got to the outside, avoided a sack, took what was going to be a wheel route and cut himself in, turned it into a slant, caught the pass, got away from the guy, broke a tackle on the inside, broke back to the outside, broke like 3 tackles, avoided 4 or 5 guys, and wound up taking a little slant play that wasn't even supposed to be a slant, breaking a bunch of tackles and getting like a 50-yard play. So only 48 on the ground, but 86 through the air. So Jaylen Warren gets the most touches and makes the most out of his touches. Converts a couple third downs, leaning forward, just kind of taking hits behind the line and turning -1 or -2 yard plays into 3-yard gains. They're not going to look big on the stat sheet, but they help us a lot. Jaylen Warren is our strongest and most explosive guy. He should be the guy. Kenneth Gainwell should not be on the field for 40 to 50% of the snaps. He just shouldn't be. I'm sorry. I like Kenneth Gainwell as a rotational guy. He's a solid NFL running back. He's a very good change of pace pass catching running back, but he should not be getting all these carries. He had 4 carries for 7 yards in this game, and his best carry was when Mason Rudolph was in on the very final series. He wound up with like a 6 or 7 yard play. So really he had 3 carries for no yards in this game. He's not a every down or between the tackles running back. He's a guy who can occasionally bounce to the outside off a missed tackle and use his footwork to get 1 or 2 good carries in a game, and he's a pass catcher. He shouldn't be out there consistently at all. If you think Caleb Johnson is worthy of getting a chance to play some running back, then he should be out there as your number 2, getting your 30% of your snaps. It should be 70% Warren right now and 25 to 30% of Caleb Johnson. If you think he deserves an opportunity, and I do, he can't do much worse running the ball in these first 2 games than Kenneth Gainwell has. I mean, right now, he's only got 3 carries for -1 yard, is all Caleb Johnson has. Caleb Johnson deserves a couple touches. Give this guy 4 or 5 carries a game and see what he can turn into, because he's not going to do worse than Gainwell, and he's a guy you drafted super high because you believe he can be your 1B right now. If you don't believe he can be your 1B, and right now he's not showing anything because he's not getting any carries on offense, and special teams wise, we'll talk about what a disappointment he's been so far, what a bust on special teams so far through 2 weeks. But if you don't believe he can get more carries or is worthy or ready for those carries, then give Jaylen Warren 90% of your snaps. Give Jaylen Warren 21 carries. Give Kenneth Gainwell 2 or 3. If you don't think that Johnson can do it, let Warren be your guy. Give Warren the every down back opportunity because he's making the most of his opportunities right now, and the other 2 guys are not. So give Jaylen Warren more because he was the best offensive player we had in this game today. Let him play more. He's explosive and he can make plays. Receiving-wise, not much to write home about. DK Metcalf got the only touchdown. Like I said, boxed the guy out. He also had another play that was a one-on-one downfield play that he went up. The ball was too high, but he got good positioning, went up and skied and caught a really tough catch. So 2 nice catches, but only for about 25 yards and a touchdown today. Metcalf also had 2 drops. One was a good coverage play, but was still in his hands. Still should have caught it, even though the coverage was good. The other one was a wide open slant that he just dropped off his hands, which now makes 2 or 3 drops in 2 weeks. So I don't know what's going on with DK. He made 2 very difficult catches in this game. But did not get himself open one-on-one today at all and did have those 2 drops. So Metcalf today with a plus and minus. You can't give a guy a total minus for a couple nice catches and a touchdown, but it was not the game breaker that I hoped for after a solid first game last week. But the drops have to stop. Metcalf is elite. He is a top 7 or 8 receiver in the entire NFL. He can't be dropping like that, especially when this offense needs opportunities. And honestly, if I'm Rodgers right now and I got 5 seconds, I'm saying, Calvin, DK, just run. Calvin, you're fast. DK, you're strong. I'm going to throw it up and give one of you guys a chance. So Metcalf's got to come down with more of those. More of those separation things on the back end and more catches on the short stuff. Calvin Austin only had 1 catch today, only had 3 targets. One was the end zone thing that wasn't meant for him in the first place. The other one was a screen that was thrown at his feet. And the third one was a catch in the late 4th quarter when the game was already over. So 4th down catch for Calvin. Calvin needs more targets, but again, this comes down to pretty good coverage today overall by Seattle. Nice job, especially for an injured secondary. So separation was an issue. Good coverage was an issue. Line was an issue, but we have to get downfield and make more things happen. Receiver-wise, there's so little to talk about here. Like I said, Darnell Washington did get his one target for his nice catch for the 2-point conversion. That's about it. Not much here. Offensive line, not a good day. Once again, Rodgers sacked 3 times. Running the ball was not given much. Warren made the most of what he had in spite of being hit in the backfield a lot. Rodgers only got sacked 3 times, but also could have been sacked 6 more. He ran for his life today again. In particular, Fa'atanu gave up one of the sacks and also had a holding penalty as well. So 2 bad things against him. Not a good day for Fa'atanu. Broderick Jones was better than last week. He was not obliviously atrocious like he was last week, but he also wasn't good. Gave up a lot of hits at the end of plays, not giving up big sacks like before, but I think was involved in one of the sacks and several of the hits. So not a good day for Broderick Jones. Either we have to figure out a way to start getting... we played 4 tight ends today. They used a lot of tight ends in trying to make our line better, and it did not work. It did not work. It worked on the stat sheet for sacks, I guess. If you count 3 as not a bad sack day, not good. We had 4 tight ends out there a lot, which takes down our receiving opportunities and makes our running play calls obvious, and it still didn't help. We had Connor out there, obviously Pat and Jonnu. We had Connor Hayward out there playing more than expected, which I don't mind. I like him, but he wasn't getting to do much. And then Darnell, we had 4 guys blocking, helping the tackles, and it still didn't make a difference. We've got to figure out the scheme quickly on offense. Defensively, lots of plus/minus guys. The good thing is we had a lot of guys injured. Most of those guys came back today. The one guy that we lost today, on top of the fact that Harmon and JPJ both were out coming into the game, we also lost Highsmith. I don't know what his designation is going to be going forward. I don't know how long we're going to be without him, but I do know we lost him, I think, like late second to early third quarter. And then a lot of the young guys came in and played admirably. A lot of the guys filled in with 3 starters being down. I gotta say, like, we had a lot of guys go in and out. At one point, Wilson went out and came back in. Queen went out and came back in. A bunch of guys were banged up. Patrick Queen was playing hurt all game long. Hope that he's okay. But a couple guys like, Jack Sawyer came in, played pretty well. Y.A. Black came in and played pretty well. Those rookies played pretty well today and filled in on a moment's notice and made some plays. They're not consistently impact players, but they're getting in there enough to get themselves noticed. These guys are going to be studs. Really good rookie class on defense here, and that's without Harmon still too. So we'll have to see what he can bring to the table. Peyton Wilson today, 7 tackles and a sack. He got in on a nice inside linebacker blitz. Beautiful sack today. Also had a couple nice plays in pursuit of the run game. Patrick Queen is a plus/minus. This was the best Patrick Queen we've seen here in Pittsburgh. He had a couple nice games last year when he got healthy. Obviously playing banged up right now, but was involved in like 5 tackles. Was all over the place in the run game. This was the best downhill pursuit Patrick Queen we've seen since Baltimore. He was very good today all over the field, shooting out of a cannon. Also got 2 quarterback hits. Didn't result in sacks, but got 2 nice hits. Also had another one up the middle that he got a nice blitz on that Sam Darnold was able to spin out of and avoid the sack, but it was a nice blitz. Good job by Darnold there, but Queen was an impact player, but also was getting beat on a lot of middle-of-the-field stuff. A lot of tight ends burned us today. Elijah Arroyo got 3 nice catches. A.J. Barner got a touchdown catch. And some of that stuff is zone stuff. We're finding that the inside linebackers mixed in with where they line up Ramsey was not working today. Ramsey, we'll get to Ramsey here too. He's a plus/minus. He had one really nice interception where he played underneath. Looked like he was going to get beat. Caught up to the guy, played the underneath route, jumped it, got a nice pick. Also had another play where he jumped in and separated the guy from the ball with a nice hard hit, bringing that mentality, that hard-hitting mentality. So 2 brilliant plays today by Ramsey and a few nice tackles, but got beat a lot. Got beat 4 or 5 times by Jackson Smith and Jigba, who had over 100 yards in this game. Ramsey got beat for the touchdown by rookie Torrey Horton. Horton was on a nice deep crossing route, like a Calvin Austin kind of route where he came off the line, went underneath, and kind of got himself open. I don't know if it's the zone is too lax or if Ramsey is behind the play. I can't really tell on some of these plays if the resulting situation is a more of a man situation where Ramsey's just getting beat, or whether it's Patrick Queen playing too shallow or picking the wrong assignment. But like I said, it's coverage-wise, it was not a good day for Queen or Ramsey, but Ramsey got a few plays and Queen was good in the run game. So it's hard to give these guys a hard grade, but some negative plays for sure in defense go to those 2 guys. What else we got? Nick Herbig came in nicely. Once Highsmith was down, Herbig and Sawyer came in for Highsmith. Both guys played well. Herbig with an interception on a Cam Hayward tip. Hayward gets in on a 4th down, bats a ball up in the air. Herbig tracks it down, picks it off, and runs it back about 40 yards. So really nice play for Herbig there. Jack Sawyer got a sack today, his first sack, shooting out of a cannon. He gets off the edge a lot. He wins a lot. He reminds me of what Herbig and TJ Watt and Highsmith really. These guys are kind of the same prototype, what they all did in their rookie year. They're making some plays, and they're not consistently winning every time in their rookie season, but you can see where the superstar ability comes in at. Again, Herbig always makes plays when he's in there, and I have no doubt that if Highsmith is down for a while, that he can do it. And I like what I'm seeing out of Sawyer in these last couple of weeks and just getting himself in the backfield. Sawyer was an impact player today. Sawyer and Herbig, big positives for us. Like I said, we'll see about Highsmith's injury, but we got to figure out the middle of the defense. Whether it's getting Cole Holcomb out there more often, he played a little bit today, but it's kind of like the Gainwell thing. He played a little more, but he still needs to get on the field more. I know he came off an injury from last season, but we got to figure out our linebackers and inside coverage because the middle of the field, both in running today, Kenneth Walker wound up over 100 yards and had a long touchdown to steal the game on us. And then passing-wise, Cooper Kupp wound up with like 80 or 90. Horton had the touchdown. Barner had a touchdown. Smith and Jigba had over 100. So we have to get stronger, both in breaking off some of those long runs and in covering the middle of the field. The outside coverage was pretty good today. Inside coverage, not so much. Solid day, it seemed like, from Big Play Slay. Slay had a couple nice tackles and a nice pass breakup, but the inside was the problem today. Special teams-wise, Chris Boswell, 3 for 3, no big surprise there. One of the best kickers in the game. Boswell with a great game. Wademan played very well as well. Had one punt go way too long and bounce in the back of the end zone, but was 4 punts for 220 yards. That is a 55.0 yards per punt average. Excellent. And one of those 4 inside the 20 as well. So good day for Waitman punting the ball. The big play that turned us over, it was a 14-14 game, I think, at the time. Or I think it was 17-14. Seattle was up by a field goal, but it was a one-possession game. And then we kicked the ball deep into the landing zone, right, where the ball is live. And Caleb Johnson, I think his helmet touched it. They were showing the replay. He put his hands up like he was going to catch it, but the ball dropped short of him. So he puts his hand up, and then he tries not to touch it. So I couldn't tell if a fingertip or his helmet tipped the ball. In either case, whether he did or did not, the ball was live because the ball didn't go into the back of the end zone. It bounced off of either his helmet or finger or just over him and stayed live in the back of the end zone. He quits on the play and lets the ball sit there. Seattle runs down and recovers the ball in the end zone for a touchdown. They put them up by 2 possessions, and that was the end of the game. Major back-breaking, game-changing play for a tight game that could have gone either way up to that point. And that really just kills you right there because you're behind and now you're making mistakes. That's 2 games in a row where Caleb Johnson is not getting running back carries because they're saying he's not ready, but he is getting returning duties. He's not returning the ball very well. He's been getting these like 20-yard, 15-yard returns. Nothing special as a returner. Had a fumble last week that he did recover. We didn't lose the fumble, but he fumbled last week that could have been costly. Luckily wasn't. This week, he lets the ball go over his head, either touches it and gives up on the play, or doesn't know the rule and gives up on the play, and the ball lays in the back of the end zone. Seattle gets a touchdown off of it. All we had to do was either fall on it in the field of play or in the end zone and get a touchback. Either way, that results then in a Seattle touchdown, which puts us behind for good. So 2 weeks, no real carries, 3 carries for -1 yard for Caleb Johnson, and then a fumble last week and a giving up on the play for a touchdown this week. We got to change our return person. I would say, if anything, to solve 2 problems in one, put Kenneth Gainwell, who's a good returner, back there as your returner. That was the point of bringing Gainwell in the first place and letting guys like Cordero Patterson go, was to sign Gainwell. Put Gainwell back there at returner so you get more proper usage out of him, get Johnson out of there, and put Johnson back in Gainwell's running back spot and let Johnson get 5 carries a game while you let Jaylen Warren be your main guy. Let Warren get 90% of your snaps. Give the other 10 to Caleb Johnson at running back. See if he can do better as a runner. Get him out of special teams and let Gainwell do what he's better at. That's the switch you make to make 2 things better than one right now. So costly play on special teams. Pittsburgh loses 31-17. Tell me in the comments down below who impressed you. Who did you like? Who did you not like? What do you think of the offensive line situation? What do you think we need on offense to do better? What do you think about Terrell Austin? I think he needs to go. That is a big problem. We have too much talent with too much money on the line. One of the highest paid defenses in the world with all-stars at all positions. We have a stacked defense that is getting their asses kicked 2 weeks in a row now. Seattle's not a bad team, but we should have won this game, and this was a bad loss in a bad way. So tell me down below who impressed you and who did not. Please like, share, and subscribe to these Pittsburgh Steelers deep dives, and I'll come back next week for another Steelers review as we play the New England Patriots. Take care, guys. See you soon.